MechFrog here. Due to popular request, I've created a list of helpful tips for someone who wants to get into playing BattleTech. As a preface, this guide includes some subjective opinions that may not fit with every playstyle. Advice is generalized, and there are always some exceptions that can be considered. The goal of this video is to provide some help for players who are feeling overwhelmed by the game. If you have advice that I didn't touch on, feel free to drop it into the comments below. Additionally, if you find this video useful, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, as well as love to know that down in the comments. So let's get started. The first piece of advice is to play through the campaign. That may seem a bit of a no-duh piece of advice, but it's a solid story, and the early missions do a good job of introducing you to some of the game's mechanics. Jumping right into a mercenary career can seem overwhelming if you skip that campaign. When starting out your mercenary career, money matters a lot. Complete every half skull and one skull mission possible before moving on to a new planet. Travel time and money really eats into your profits, so the goal should be to move as little as possible and maximize your profit. This could mean fighting against one faction and then for them in the next mission. That's perfectly fine in the early game. Third piece of advice is to upgrade your ship in the engineering tab early and keep it upgrading continuously, especially the structure energy options so that you can improve your propulsion and shave down travel time costs. Tip number 4, BattleTech is a game of percentages. Keep your mechs moving and it makes them more difficult to hit, and it's incredibly important for those light mechs that can be destroyed in just a few hits. Additionally, if your mech has a specific weapon on a side that you need to protect, you've got that PPC in the right arm, you've got the AC5 in the left arm, do your best to face your mechs away from incoming fire if you need to protect that side of your mech. Tip 5. The trees are your friends. Starting out, your mechs are light and weak mediums. They can't take a lot of hits before you end up with big repair bills and dead mech warriors. So standing in trees provides that cover, which is 20% reduction in damage taken. Exploit it as often as possible. Tip 6. The medium lasers are also your friends. They are the bread and butter of early game weapons and will be doing a lot of the damage in battle. Early on, your mech warriors aren't going to be very good at hitting things, so avoid refitting your mechs with big flashy single shot weapons like the PPC or AC-10 because you're going to be missing with them often. You're much better off with taking 3 medium lasers for that 50% chance to hit rather than just one PPC shot, which is all or nothing. Tip 7. When placing your battle mechs on the battlefield, line of sight matters. Avoid placing your mechs in locations where more than 1 or 2 enemy mobs can directly see them. This limits your direct damage and keeps your mechs on their feet for longer. You don't need to see every enemy, you just need to see the enemies you are shooting. Tip number 8. At the beginning of a mission, use your scout to trigger the movement of enemy forces. Try to time your movement so that you're shooting first rather than just running up as far as you can and then taking the first damage. It's a bit like a chess match where you try to retain the initiative and choose when you want to engage rather than reacting to the opposing force's moves. Tip number 9. Upgrade your mech warriors as often as possible. What you choose to put your experience into can vary upon your playstyle and the mech warrior's role in the battlefield, but in general, gunnery is going to be your friend. Improving your to-hit percentage can make a big difference in the battle, especially early on when you're looking at 20%, 30%, 40% chances to hit. Tip number 10. Ditch problematic mech warriors. If you start to get pop-up events where a specific mech warrior keeps causing trouble, fire them sooner rather than later. The game follows a rather predictable path with this mech warrior eventually leaving anyway, so hire a new one, fire the problem, and save yourself the lost experience points. Alright, tip 11. In your early missions, focus on C-bills instead of salvage in your contract negotiations. The mech pieces you will salvage won't be any better than what you already have, and often you'll end up getting them anyway. So you need those C-bills to focus on ship upgrades early on, and that should be your priority. Finally, our last piece of advice for this video is to avoid overextending yourself with missions tougher than you can reasonably accomplish. If you're finding yourself spending more on money for repairs or replacing mech warriors that die than you can earn from that mission, you're not ready for that difficulty level. You're much better off stepping back down to a slightly easier difficulty, building up your mech warriors XP, and saving up for stronger battle mechs. It's okay to mission farm for that new Centurion, Archer, and Marauder, and that can make a big difference on the battlefield. So with that, I'll say I'm confident that if you follow this list of advice, a new BattleTech player is going to see the difficulty curve ease quite a bit. If you have questions or additional tips that I didn't get to with this first video, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. Have a great day, hold the line, and do your part to make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.